welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abassi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And we're just going to get right into the topic today. I have a lot going on in between my ears. And I think I'm just going to get into the topic and we'll see where it goes. So today's topic is letting go. Um, but in parallel, I will probably be tying in a little bit about humility and pride. This is just not only the topics that have come up over the course of the time that I was doing our acceptance series, but also has a lot to do with different conversations I've had with some friends recently. So I think for me, just to touch on like this morning, the reading said, what is the definition? Like, what is the meaning of humility? And and I thought, okay, yeah, like when I first got sober, humility was something that I literally had to keep looking up. I kept having to type it into Google and find out what the definition was, which I always felt stupid. Like I always felt like, well, I've never been too much of a word nerd. I've been more of a math nerd. So, when a word like that would come up, it's not a big deal for me to keep looking it up. But for this one, I just kept having to look it up because it keeps coming up all the time in sobriety. What humility means and the role that humility plays in our sobriety and working through the steps, more importantly. So the reading this morning then talked about pride and getting rid of like humility is getting rid of pride. And the reading talked about that old saying that I giggled when I heard it, when our parents or that generation used to say, have you no pride? Take pride in your work. And that word pride was coming up all the time. And as I get into this sobriety process, it's like whenever I feel prideful, it's like, no, 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 like humble yourself. Well, I think what I have always equated to pride was ego. And that's what I shared this morning. Ego is not the same as pride. And I think that I wore ego like armor to protect myself from like feeling not good enough and and putting up like a armor against what could possibly hurt me. If somebody was coming across like they're smarter than me, you guys know that's a big that's a big no-no for me. When somebody comes across to me like they think they're smarter than me, I have a real problem with that. And when that something like that happens, my ego like swells up into protection mode so that I can't be hurt because I think my fear was that they were smarter than me. I feel like I've always felt that way. That I went to school for math and I took all of the science classes, physics and chemistry and statistics and all of these science classes. And I did well, honestly, until I started drinking so much that I just could not ingest the information anymore. Um, but it was always my fear that I wasn't going to be good enough. And there's a reason why I thought that because my teacher in high school told me that I wasn't good enough. He told me that I was not going to be able to graduate as a math major. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I showed him, didn't I? I did it. But I didn't do it for the right reasons. And I did it because I I wanted to prove him wrong, and I did it by dressing myself up in a suit of ego, and I never took it off. Never. I never took it off. Um, and then, so switching over to this topic of letting go, it's like control is also something that we use as armor, that we wear as armor. Whether it's like being a perfectionist or over planning or people pleasing, caregiving, like being able to control something around us gives us this like familiar feeling, and we can just paint the fear a different color, push it over in the corner, and I'm going to just control everything that I can around me. And what I really need to be doing is looking inward and controlling what's within my fingertips, I always say. Um, and it's the first time that we look inward, um, gosh, the first years of looking inward, it's so unfamiliar and uncomfortable, and it's uncertain that we're ever going to be able to figure it out. Am I ever gonna be able to, if I can't outrun my fear and my insecurities, what can I do um, to make them go away? Um, and and that's not what I believe we enter into recovery for. It's not to make it all go away. It's to fix what's going on within my fingertips. Like after I had my stroke, to compare it to that, I could not control my eyes and the pain in my head. Um, there was nothing I could do to control it. Like I I tried all different things. I tried sleeping for hours at a time. I tried not, wearing my sunglasses, closing my eyes, looking away when somebody's talking to me so that I don't see their face moving. Because even somebody's face moving when they're talking to me gives me a headache. It causes that tension to build in my head. And so I couldn't escape from it. I couldn't outrun the pain. And so similarly in sobriety, I couldn't outrun the fear. And I felt like there was something I needed to do to make it go away. And when I had my stroke, I was trying to figure out what to do, obviously, to make the pain go away. And the thing was, I was trying to do the same things that I used to and not have pain. I want to do the same things that I always did, and I want the pain to go away. In sobriety, I want to do things the way that I always did, and I want the fear to go away. And it's not going to happen. That's the part of acceptance that I've been talking about over the past week is I can't do the things that I was always doing and make the things that I don't like go away. I have to surrender. I have to stop saying that everything is fine when it's not fine, right? I mean, I don't want to go back into the whole acceptance series, but um, I need to take a look at reality, and reality tells me that I can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Like letting go of everything I've known and stepping into uncertainty becomes survival. It becomes necessary for survival. And what it felt like before I entered into sobriety, letting go of life as I knew it felt like a failure. Felt like the way that I had planned it, the way that I wanted this thing to, called life to go, I suck at it. I couldn't do it on my own, so I failed. But that's not what letting go is. Letting go is when you're smart. We're all smart. And letting go is the smart decision. It's the ones who realize, wait a minute, if I keep doing this drinking thing over and over and over again, I'm going to keep being drunk. That's the way that it works. And if I keep doing things my way, I'm going to keep being drunk. Um, it's not until I started accepting people and a higher power, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what I believe. It's not until I accept that there are answers outside of me and I'm going to be willing to listen to them. That's when I can get my self will out of the way. Um, it's hard to trust in a higher power when we are so used to trusting in this blown up ego that I've created around myself for protection. Um, I've talked a lot about receiving help from doctors and friends and family and all of these recovery groups that I'm a part of. That is a form of faith. So if you struggle with having God as your higher power, first of all, don't give up because weirder things have happened. I trust you that it could just end up coming clear to you, that form of faith. But if you don't, nothing says that you ever have to have some sort of faith in God. It's what matters is that you have faith in something outside of yourself. That's why it's called something greater than yourself. It's something bigger than yourself, a higher power. And that can be anything that brings you um, strength and makes you feel like, why am I thinking right now? Makes you feel like, somebody has hardened your spine and is keeping it straight for you. It's terrible. I was thinking of, I know why I was thinking about it because I was listening to the news last night and they were talking about a person who broke their back and had metal, I don't know, put in their back so that they couldn't move their back. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry. Shiny coin, that's how I am. So, but letting others in that will make you stronger and make you be able to carry yourself around with confidence even if you just don't feel that ego that I was blowing up to make me appear more confident. Now what I use is other people. I use the other people that I was trying to protect myself from. I now use them as part of my higher power. I allow others to fuel my confidence instead of what I was doing before is I was using my ego to fuel my confidence, my imaginary confidence, to protect me from other people. I can't fix the stuff in my life by myself. I can't. And I used to think that that I suck, that I failed. And it's just not true. I feel like I'm one of the smarter ones who has figured out that I don't have to do it by myself. Why do I have to remake the wheel when it's already been made? Like listen to what other people said. How have they done it? And that just gives me a head start on what I want to do in my life if I get help from other people. So letting go doesn't mean um, giving up. It means that you're loosening your grip on what you are trying to force to happen in your life that is just maybe not meant to happen. And one of the things that I've talked about before I go to bed at night, I get on my knees beside my bed and I say a bunch of stuff and then I say, Thy will be done, not mine. And when I say that, it gives me so much freedom. It didn't always. I started this habit about 5 years ago, I think. And it didn't always feel like that. Quite honestly, I was embarrassed that somebody might walk in and see me on my on my knees beside my bed, like my kids. But um, the more I did it, the more it felt good, and it gave me more serenity and freedom and made me not feel alone. And now when I get on my knees beside my bed, like it's one of the few times in my day that I feel just absolutely surrounded by comfort and confidence and love and peace. And I feel like every night before bed, I get to surrender. I don't have to. I get to surrender, and I'm surrendering my alcoholism, my chronic pain. I'm handing it all over, and I'm opening myself up to the possibilities of what can happen in my life if I don't plan them. Um, do with me what you will, that kind of thing. I don't think I've ever said that, but that's what it is. And I don't need to understand what's happening. I don't need to wake up in the morning and just because something doesn't go as planned, I get my, all right, I'm just going to say it, get my panties in a twist about things not happening the way that I had planned it. I don't have to understand the purpose of everything that's going on in my life to make progress. All I need is to have the willingness to act as if I have faith. I don't even have to have faith. I just have to act like I have it. And that's when the journey began for me. It did. That's exactly when my faith journey began, is when I started acting as if I had it. And in turn, I have been walking a pretty interesting path for me. It's taken me a long time, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but I continue to, those of you who have been listening all this time know that in the beginning of my podcast, I didn't even like to say the word God because that's just been it's been difficult for me, but with each step forward, each podcast, I make a decision every day to keep moving forward and keep being authentic, keeping honest, even when I don't even know what I'm talking about. I had an episode I guess 2 weeks ago, right before I started doing the acceptance framework. And the whole podcast episode, I was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking. But that's what I have to do. For me, I have to let go of all, like, just put a pin in my ego and just deflate it. And now, like, letting go is like brushing my teeth in the morning. It takes daily maintenance and work on being emotionally sober. Um, so doing things like gratitude is so important. I don't do gratitude enough now, and I'm ashamed to say that. I really am ashamed to say that because gratitude was something that I did. Um, I talk about it here all the time, but I used to actually type out my gratitude, three things I'm grateful for every night before I went to bed. I would send it to my sponsee. Actually, I had like three or four different people that I would send it to. But after I had my stroke, it became too difficult for me, excuse me, especially before bed, because that's when my symptoms are really, really heightened. And then when I lost that habit, I end up that I don't do gratitude enough. But I do have, I think, gratitude checkpoints throughout the day. So I do have moments that I've told you before that I'll just kind of stop what I'm doing and recognize that right now, like, this is what serenity is like, and I'll just say thank you. Or if I receive something that I feel like is a gift, I will say thank you. And that is gratitude, in real time. Um, it's it's not perfect. Like my program is absolutely not perfect, but as long as I'm honest about it, that I'm not saying that I'm doing something that I'm not. I sometimes I'll come here for the episode and I'll say like, yeah, I'm gonna do yoga 3 times a week, and then I don't do it, and then you don't hear about me doing like I don't bring it up again. That's not intentional. It's probably because it fell off my radar and I just didn't do it again. I have been practicing some acceptance regarding yoga that I just can't do the yoga that I used to do, but I am doing some really, really great new exercises that my physical therapist who's doing the dry needling gave me. And I feel like I'm getting stronger. I feel like my back is getting stronger. And that's all because I finally like let go and realized all the things I'm trying to do to help myself with my back is not working. My back was killing me. I could barely move. And now I'm starting to be able to walk around without pain. So it applies throughout our life. Everything that we do, this letting go, this daily practice of letting go. So I think my call to action, my prompt for you today is to think about, is there anything right now that you are holding on to and you won't let go? I know there is. Um, what are you holding on to and you don't want to let go? And are you holding on to it by yourself? Does anyone even know that you're holding on to this thing by yourself? Like, you have one life to live and you're going to spend it holding on to this thing. Um, you can let it go, and you don't have to let it go alone. You can let it go with a group of people. You can let it go with one person. But know that you don't have to hold on to it. It's such a waste of energy to hold on to pain. And I get it, it's hard to believe. because I've been there so much, so I know what it's like. It's hard to believe when you're in a really, really terrible place that anything could ever change, that anything could ever get better. Um, and you can have all the people in the world tell you, believe me, I've been there, I know what it's like, but it doesn't have to be that way, and you can get better. All you have to do is, and that's when you stop listening because I don't want to do anything. I just want things to change, and they're not going to. They're not going to unless you start changing, right? Um, Man, it's hard. I get it. I totally get it. It's hard. But it is possible and life can be beautiful even for you. Even for you. Not just for everybody else who you think deserves it and not you. It can be good for you too. Um, and it just takes just a little bit at a time, a little decision at a time that, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to hold on to this anymore. So I'm going to make a change. So keep coming back here and we'll make these changes together because I know what it feels like. And I'm happy that when I record an episode that I don't come back tomorrow and see that nobody listened to it. Like I know you're there and I know you're listening and I know you don't come here for my fabulous hair and my Padres t-shirt. It's because we can relate, like we're learning this life thing together and we can relate to each other. So thank you so much for coming and I will talk to you tomorrow.